At Step Ahead channel, we know that understanding the basics of financial education is key to having a happy life, helping you live comfortably, eat well, send your kids to a good school, have a great health plan, enjoy some nice leisure time, and more. To help you get ahead, we're going to break down a popular book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. So, stay tuned for a quick overview that can put you a step or two in the right direction. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a finance book that I wish I had read when I was younger, around 15 or 16 years old. I highly recommend reading the book or watching the video, as I will provide a detailed summary of all 7 key lessons. Lesson number 1, The Rich Don't Work for Money. When Robert, at 9, faced exclusion due to his economic status, he sought guidance from his struggling, poor dad, a teacher. Recognizing Robert and his friend Mike's eagerness to learn about wealth, Poor Dad directed them to Mike's dad, whom Robert called his rich dad. Rich Dad, rejecting traditional classroom methods, offered to teach them to make money through hands-on work. Excitedly, Robert and Mike accepted, working on Saturdays for 10 cents per hour. Despite a mundane task at a supermarket, they persisted, motivated by the chance to gain practical knowledge. After 3 weeks, feeling undervalued, Robert was ready to quit. However, Mike revealed that his dad anticipated this, intending for them to learn not just from the work but from facing challenges. The experience taught them the value of perseverance and quick decision-making, shaping their understanding of wealth beyond a classroom setting. The lesson from Rich Dad extended beyond a paycheck. It was about acquiring practical knowledge and developing a mindset for financial success. The early exposure to the real world of business and money laid the foundation for Robert and Mike to understand that wealth wasn't just about academic achievements but practical application and a resilient mindset. These early lessons became pivotal in their journey toward financial literacy and success. Robert was frustrated with Mike's father's unique teaching approach, which involved learning through personal experiences instead of lectures. Despite Poor Dad's advice to demand a raise, Robert met Rich Dad the following Saturday, waiting for 45 minutes before confronting him about not keeping his promise. Accusing Rich Dad of greed and disrespecting employees, Robert questioned the meaning of teaching. Rich Dad explained life as the ultimate teacher, pushing individuals around to impart valuable lessons. Rich Dad shared that most people resist life's challenges, blaming their job, boss, or spouse. However, only a few see challenges as opportunities for growth. With over 150 employees, Rich Dad observed that none asked to learn about money, solely focused on jobs and paychecks. In response to Mike and Robert's eagerness, Rich Dad created a real-life learning program, starting them at a meager 10 cents per hour to understand life's challenges. When Robert complained about low wages, Rich Dad emphasized the lesson: quitting for a higher-paying job isn't a lasting solution. Rather, the key is making money work for you. While Robert slowly grasped this concept, Rich Dad stressed that waiting for a raise and thinking more money solves problems isn't the answer. The true solution lies in understanding how to leverage money for long-term success. Rich Dad, aware of Robert's enthusiasm for learning, surprised him by announcing an end to payment for their work, challenging him to find a solution using his intelligence. This shift left Robert puzzled, expecting a raise. However, Rich Dad emphasized that to earn more, Robert needed to think creatively. For the next 3 weeks, Robert and Mike worked without pay. One day, after work, Mike's dad took the boys out for ice cream. When asked if they had learned anything, their negative response prompted Rich Dad to encourage them to recognize the lessons in their surroundings. He pointed to people in the park, trapped in mundane lives with the illusion of job security, yearly vacations, and a pension after decades of service. Despite Rich Dad offering a 25-cent raise, they resisted, even when the offer reached $2. Robert envisioned the wealth and possessions $2 could bring but struggled to say yes. Rich Dad observed their internal conflict, understanding the power of money on emotions while testing their resilience. He made a final offer of $5 per hour. In this negotiation, Rich Dad recognized the interplay between the desire for financial gain and the resilience that cannot be bought. He highlighted the internal struggle within each person and made it clear that the final offer was not just about money but a test of inner strength and priorities. Suddenly, the boys' expressions shifted, and their vacant looks turned calm, as if their temptation vanished instantly. Rich Dad noted their resistance to having a price, explaining that many lives are controlled by fear and greed, leading to the rat race of working for money and spending endlessly. Mike questioned if there was an alternative, and Rich Dad confirmed, hinting they'd learn by working with him without pay. When Mike sought guidance, Rich Dad stressed the first step: honesty with oneself. The truth, he explained, relates to acknowledging genuine feelings, confessed only to oneself. Rich Dad doubted his employees' ability to be honest, observing their emotional responses fueled by the fear of lacking money. He urged them to break free from this cycle, emphasizing that wealth doesn't solve the underlying issue. When asked why, he introduced another key emotion: desire. Many work for money believing it brings happiness, but Rich Dad warned that wealth driven by fear leads to constant anxiety. Our emotions often control our thinking, and fear can lead to decisions that don't address the real problem. Rich Dad highlighted the importance of independent thinking and not letting emotions dictate actions. Despite tempting them with more money, he saw hope as the boys resisted emotionally and worked for free, learning to think rationally. Encouraging them to continue, Rich Dad emphasized that releasing the need for a paycheck would make adult life easier. The boys were taking steps toward rational thinking, demonstrating the potential for a mindset shift. Rich Dad motivated the boys to use their mental abilities without expecting payment, assuring them their minds would reveal lucrative opportunities. Following his advice, they established a library charging kids 10 cents for unlimited comic book access. Over 3 months, they earned $9.50 per week, showcasing the concept of making money work for them. Despite a premature closure due to a fight, they learned that wealth doesn't solely come from working for money. Eager for more knowledge, Mike's dad was ready to teach them further. Lesson 2. Learn financial literacy. To become rich, Robert emphasizes the need for financial literacy, citing Rich Dad's teachings. Though accounting may seem boring, it's crucial for financial success. Rich Dad simplified lessons for Robert and Mike, emphasizing the distinction between assets and liabilities. Acquiring assets, things that generate income, is key to wealth, yet many miss this simple concept. Educated differently by bankers and planners, people often confuse liabilities for assets. Assets put money in your pocket, while liabilities drain it. The cash flow pattern of an asset is depicted in a diagram, explaining income and expenses on the upper section and balancing assets against liabilities on the lower section. Renting out a house turns it into an asset, generating monthly income. Robert stresses the importance of avoiding liabilities and focusing on acquiring more assets. Many in debt think making more money solves problems, but without financial education, increased cash often leads to more spending. Robert challenges the belief that a home is an asset, considering taxes and expenses. He advises buying a house after acquiring assets that cover its costs. Financial education is the missing piece for many who struggle with money despite professional success. While they work hard for money, they lack the knowledge to make their money work for them. Robert dismisses the misconception of a home as an asset, urging a focus on assets generating enough cash flow to cover house expenses. Understanding these principles is essential for financial success, guiding individuals to make informed decisions about managing their money. Robert believes that the key to becoming rich is to invest in income-producing assets, while keeping expenses and liabilities low. He defines wealth as a person's ability to survive for a certain number of days without working. Another way to measure wealth is by comparing the cash flow from assets to expenses. According to Robert, once your assets generate enough income to cover your expenses, you are considered wealthy, even if you are not yet rich. Lesson 3. Focus on your work only. Robert stresses the importance of minding your own business, using Ray Kroc's example, who viewed McDonald's as a real estate business. Many mistake their profession for their actual business, working for others like employers, the government, or banks. Rich Dad and Kroc understood this secret to wealth. Minding your own business doesn't always mean starting a company, but focusing on your asset column over your income column. It involves keeping expenses low, reducing liabilities, and building a base of assets, avoiding a debt-driven lifestyle. Real assets include businesses managed by others, stocks, bonds, income-generating real estate, and valuable intellectual property. Robert suggests acquiring assets aligned with personal passion, emphasizing the importance of genuine interest. While working at Xerox, he built his asset column, gradually understanding accounting and cash management. Starting a company should only happen if genuinely desired, otherwise, focus on the day job and strengthen the asset column. Growing cash flow allows indulging in luxuries, but only if supported by asset-generated income. The ultimate goal is letting assets pay for luxuries once they generate enough income. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. Robert challenges the perception of Robin Hood as a hero, labeling him a crook. He discusses the misconception that the rich should pay more taxes, emphasizing that the educated middle class bears the heaviest tax burden. Exploring the history of taxes in England and America, he reveals that income tax, initially targeting the wealthy, ended up burdening the poor and middle class. Rich Dad and Poor Dad had differing views on government spending, with Poor Dad supporting expansion, while Rich Dad prioritized minimizing expenses. As the government's need for money grew, taxes trickled down to the middle class. The rich, operating under different rules, found opportunities in the corporate structure to avoid taxes. Corporations, legal entities separate from individuals, offer a lower income tax rate. Wealthy individuals exploit this advantage, evading significant tax payments. Penalizing the rich through taxation rarely succeeds, as they consistently find ways to minimize their tax burden. Understanding the history and legal structures helps unveil the tactics employed by the wealthy to outsmart the tax system. Lesson number 5: The rich invest money. Robert stresses the value of investing wisely and recognizing the mind as a crucial asset. By improving financial intelligence, we can uncover overlooked opportunities and even create wealth. An example from Robert and Kim's early 90s success illustrates this. In a challenging economic situation, they bought a $75,000 house for $20,000 with a $2,000 down payment. 5 hours later, they sold the house for $60,000, making a $40,000 profit in just 5 hours. This example highlights how financial intelligence can turn ideas into significant profits. Enhancing financial intelligence allows us to identify opportunities others might miss. The constantly changing world presents lifetime opportunities, and developing financial intelligence enables us to recognize and seize them. Embracing the power of financial intelligence transforms our outlook on upcoming changes. Instead of fear, we approach them with excitement, identifying and acting on emerging opportunities. By understanding the evolving nature of wealth, from land to factories and, presently, information, we prepare for a future filled with potential. Lesson 6: Work for learning, not for money. A few years ago, Robert had an interesting encounter with a struggling journalist aspiring to be a best-selling author. Despite her literary talent, she resisted learning sales skills, despising the idea. Robert, a best-selling author himself, emphasized the importance of selling, but the suggestion offended her, leading to an abrupt end to the interview. Many talented individuals, like her, face financial struggles and are often just one skill away from success. Robert highlights the value of gaining diverse experiences and learning essential skills for the long term. He and his friend Mike had multiple jobs growing up, aiming to acquire varied skills. While many seek short-term security, Robert advocates for pursuing work that provides necessary skills. He encourages a mindset shift toward embracing change, akin to starting at the gym. It might be challenging initially, but the benefits are worth it. When Robert titled his book provocatively as, "If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School," it generated controversy and publicity, showcasing the importance of attention-grabbing titles. Rich Dad's approach emphasized diversifying knowledge and learning about different business aspects. Specialization, as advocated by Poor Dad, often leads to being trapped in a specific field. Robert identifies key success skills as cash flow management, systems management, people management, sales, and marketing. He stresses the significance of continuously learning through courses and educational resources, investing in personal growth. Embracing a broad skill set and adapting to change are crucial in navigating the evolving landscape of success. Lesson 7: Overcoming obstacles. Financially literate individuals may struggle with abundant cash flow due to fear, cynicism, laziness, and bad habits. Fear of losing money often hinders people from making bold investment choices, leading to financial struggles. Rich individuals play to win, focusing on key investments and embracing some unbalance for significant gains. Cynicism, whether self-doubt or doubts from others, holds people back, causing them to miss out on opportunities. Overcoming doubts is crucial. Winners analyze, while cynics criticize. Opportunities, like lucrative real estate investments, are often missed due to focusing on negatives. Laziness is the third reason, and overcoming it requires a bit of greed. Shifting from, "I can't afford it," to, "How can I afford it?" opens the mind to solutions. Greed, in moderation, can be motivating, driving progress and improvement. The desire for a better life and progress fuels our world. Lastly, bad habits, such as paying others first, hinder success. Poor habits, like paying oneself last, often leave little left over. Successful habits, as practiced by Rich Dad, involve prioritizing oneself, even if short on money. This approach, driven by the need to pay creditors, fosters creative thinking and alternative income sources. To overcome these challenges, it's crucial to handle fear, ignore cynicism, combat laziness with a bit of greed, and develop successful habits. Embracing some unbalance and focusing on key investments, like real estate, can lead to financial independence. Winners analyze opportunities, stay open-minded, and question limiting beliefs. Greed, when applied moderately, can be a driving force for progress. Shifting from negative mindsets to solution-oriented thinking fosters a stronger mind and dynamic spirit. By prioritizing oneself and developing successful habits, individuals can break free from financial struggles and build abundant cash flow. That wraps up this video on Step Ahead, your dedicated hub for empowering summaries of self-help and entrepreneurship literature. In this session, I've dissected the valuable insights from this exceptional book written by Robert Kiyosaki. If you're hungry for more wisdom and eager to advance several steps ahead in your personal and professional journey, don't hesitate to browse through the enticing playlist showcased on your screen. Thank you for tuning in to Step Ahead.